Vinyl community. It's Chris on the Vinyl Transmission channel. Today is January 17th, 1944, but 73 years later. It's Françoise Hardy's birthday, and we're starting off International Françoise Hardy Month with this video, which is going to look at some greatest hits on vinyl, compilations on vinyl that are inspired by Françoise Hardy or where she appears on or is somehow otherwise relevant. And then we're going to look at some CDs as well that are also pretty awesome. So, but the most important thing is to kick off the month and the conversation. So please post your comments or ask any questions. The whole month we're going to have amazing videos coming out on Françoise Hardy and other videos as well. So if there's something you want to see or something you're curious about to maybe have talked about during this really incredible month of International Françoise Hardy appreciation, then yeah, chime in. We'd love to have you. So let me start with this compilation here. This is called Girls in the Garage. It's on Romulan Records, and there are a bunch of different volumes in this series, Girls in the Garage, all focusing on 60s female music, but internationally. This volume is all French music, so the cover does a great job of giving you the vibe. And if you have spotted it, her debut album is on the cover, as is her husband. So a really cool cover, really well curated collection of French pop psychedelic. There was a discovery for me on this album of this artist, Caro. Her song on this album just absolutely kills. This is the Romulan Records logo. The label is sort of hard to show on camera, but that's what the label looks like. It's got a great amount of information on the back about each song and why they chose it. And there's one artist on here. What's her name? Annie Philippe. I'm probably butchering that name, but she appears on the compilation that we're listening to here, which I'll get to in just a little bit. So highly recommend that, Girls in the Garage. The other ones in that series deal with Japanese. They deal with American. This one is the only one that deals with the French pop in particular. This is another amazing compilation. This is all Serge Gainsbourg songs done by an incredible selection of artists, and especially female vocalists. And at the top of that list is this Cat Power song, which is just amazing on this beautiful cover. This has Jarvis Cocker, Françoise Hardy, Marianne Faithfull, Leslie Feist, Carla Bruni, The Kills. There's enough great material here. This first song with Franz Ferdinand and Jane Birkin is just a really incredible track. This is a diverse album that's really got a lot to appeal to everyone. The Françoise Hardy track is actually about the worst thing on here, not her because of her performance, but because of the song is called Requiem to a Jerk, I think it's called. And it's meant to be obnoxious, and man, the singer that they have do it is just, is the character. So it's kind of not my favorite song. Her few moments on it are really cool. I can't say enough about the performance of Cat Power on that album. It's amazing. So this is the album that we're listening to now, which has just one track by Françoise Hardy and has a really nice selection of other artists. These are more highly produced than the Girls in the Garage, but as I said, Annie Philippe is one artist who does appear on both of these. This is extremely well produced. Meaning just this vinyl that's a reproduction, but they have great information on the artists record labels and everything. So very cool. That's Annie Philippe there. Okay, so now we're going to look at some compact disc collections of Françoise Hardy and some French music collections. And then at the end, we'll get to some greatest hits on vinyl, like this amazing copy behind me of Françoise Hardy's greatest hits. We'll look at several of those on vinyl. But first, we'll go through some great compilations of CD. And actually, the first one I'm going to show you is, I say it's great. This one is okay. It's called Très Chic. I'll give you a tip. This one does come with a poster of this cover photograph and even an enlarged picture of it. But this is a decent enough compilation. I can't go out of my way to recommend it, but it is cool. It has a lot of artists of the period. I wasn't knocked out by the selection on this one, I have to say. This one too, but this one really has a pretty large stretch of music. And it has one Françoise Hardy track. It has a bunch of other artists on it as well. And from Edith Piaf and just a really huge selection of eras. I'm not going to read them off because it's a strange mix. I don't know. It's all later material from all of the artists, so it's not like vintage material from any of the artists. But one cool thing that this compilation made me realize was that I had another record that was on here that surprised me. Of course, I had the Françoise Hardy song that was on it already. But there is an excerpt also, and this is kind of a bonus record in this video. There's also a selection from this record, which the translation of this that I've always liked is Elevator to the Gallows. And it's a movie soundtrack that was recorded in Paris. And it's some of the just most saddest, beautiful music I've ever heard from an instrument. I mean, it almost is like picking up a seashell on the shore and just hearing human sadness. But it's just kind of so beautifully expressed that he does this with this instrument that we're looking at. And that gatefold is amazing, isn't it? This is a killer recording of it, and just kind of neat. But I would check this out. All the songs are very short on this. It was made for a movie. But the material is kind of unique in his catalog in just the devotion to that mood, I would say. Okay, so we'll get to a couple, just two more compilations on CD, and then we'll get to finish out with a few amazing vinyl records for this first video in International Françoise Hardy Music Appreciation Month. So this is a compilation that is interesting to me because it has a few songs at the end, such as the Revenge of the Flowers, which is a Michael McLaren song that she did. And so it's got a few songs at the end that are a little tough to find, and it does go all the way from the Vogue years, 1962, up to that Malcolm McLaren thing, which you just can't get on another compilation. And, without buying the single or buying the Malcolm McLaren album. So, but I don't love the first 10 songs are just sort of a real grab bag of the Vogue years. Maybe not everyone would feel that way. I mean, they're good songs, but it just sort of, it's a little too quick of a span to go through. So, kind of for, may be of limited interest to everyone. This compilation is amazing. This is this focuses on all of her material, including the later material, which is gorgeous, and they do an amazing curation of this. Unlike that other record, which I'm saying is kind of just not curated real well. This is an amazing collection of her stuff. It all sounds amazing. This is a 2 CD collection. And my version actually has a bonus DVD, which makes it a really phenomenal collection. And so it has perfect digital videos going all the way from collaborations with her husband from '65 all the way up to like 2005. It includes material from an upcoming release reissue called The Danger, which will be out in February on vinyl. And you know, in the YouTube can show you everything, can show you all these great old clips, but to see really high quality ones is pretty awesome. This is just a killer collection. You'll see this, but usually it won't have the DVD with it. Okay, vinyl community. So here we are with the final vinyls I'm going to show you. This collection behind me has that amazing cover. That one focuses mostly on her English material. I think all the songs are in English, and it really is a collection of the singles, so they're kind of hard to track down elsewhere. They're not necessarily the greatest of her songs that I would say, but it's a real specific collection of her English material, of like the final reissue I'll show you at the end, and it does sound pretty good. This one sounds amazing. This is a Japanese pressing that has a collection from the early 60s into the 70s, not much beyond that. But it sounds immaculate and beautiful cover. Do I have the? Here's the Japanese. The song that's playing right now is that Caro song that I mentioned earlier. And forgive me if I already showed this one or not. But this one is a collection of the Vogue years, and just doesn't sound great. You know, really sounds like a pretty poorly done mastering to vinyl here. It's just like the first 5, you know, a collection from the first 5 vinyls. It is the old style. Okay, so here we are now with the final record that we're going to talk about, called In English, En Inglés. And this is the current reissue. It really is a beautiful collection. It's got songwriters like Phil Ochs, Buddy Holly, Ray Davies. She does Who'll Be the Next in Line. She does That'll Be the Day. When she does the Who'll Be the Next in Line, she really does it at a real clip, which just is the correct way to sing it, the way that it's written, that song. And so a very cool collection. The musicianship won't knock you out on this, but if you can appreciate her selection of songs and just the great tone that this album has, and her vocal performance is great. It's not real long, but I enjoy it, and this does sound amazing. So I'm going to show you an original press of that doesn't sound nearly as good, but might have a slight advantage on the cover. So this was called the second English album here on this pressing. It's the front and the back. And then I'll leave you with the gatefold. So please have a comment or a question. Let me know anything you might like to see or talk about in the rest of this month. And I thank you for watching. You'll never know when the next video is going to show up, but it's going to be soon. Hopefully it'll be a full month of surprises. So thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you next time. Bye.